Hey Inside Tiny Jungle fans, welcome to the first video in my web series for YouTube. We've been promoting it for a while now and it's finally here. I know you guys have been waiting so patiently. We're going to try to put out 2 videos a week for YouTube exclusive videos. Full length, 10 to 15 minutes is what we're hoping for. So please do not forget to follow me from now on here on YouTube now that we're finally getting these through. For our first episode, I really wanted to delve deep into a topic that I'm passionate about, one that I don't think is delved deep enough into on the live streams and the content videos and everything. It's something that I think about all the time, especially living here where I am in North Carolina. It's a huge thing. Cottonmouths, also known as water moccasins. Equestrodon pescivores is the Latin name for these guys. Now, our first question is, what is a cottonmouth? A cottonmouth is North America's only semi-aquatic pit viper, and they're only found here in the southeastern parts of the United States. They are a pit viper, just like copperheads and rattlesnakes. They have heat-seeking pits right there in the front of their face, below the nostrils, that are used and are so sensitive they can detect a 1,000th of a degree in temperature difference. And they use these, just like rattlesnakes and copperheads, to sense their prey. As it comes by, the heat of the prey gives off a heat signature and the snake is able to sense that. Now, I know that can sound a little bit scary, heat-sinking pits. It sounds like something off of one of the Predator movies, right? It's really not that scary, and it's really not really any different than bats using echolocation or dolphins using echolocation, their own form of sonar, radar. It's just an evolutionary adaptation to help them live in their natural native environment. Now, these guys are normally found near water, anything from lakes to brooks, creeks, streams, ponds, muddy hole areas. Anywhere that you can find water in the southeastern United States, you can usually find cottonmouths not too far away. Now, these guys are normally nocturnal. They can be found during the day as well, and they can be found just about year-round here. Now, being nocturnal, the heat-sensing pits gives them a huge advantage to helping them sense prey at night, since their vision, their actual vision, is not the best in the world. This gives them more contact, of course, with people, being seen year-round, being more active at night, and being found around, bodies of water. That's also where people tend to hang out. Now, with them being more in areas that also you find people, you would think that it makes them a little bit more dangerous. But before we get into that, let's check out some numbers, shall we? In America, there's roughly between 7,000 to 8,000 snake bites occurring each year. These are venomous snake bites alone. In all of those bites, there's usually 4 or 5 fatalities annually, and they're almost always from rattlesnakes. Now, most bites in America occur to males, blokes, between the ages of 17 to 27, and about 50% of those are intoxicated in some way. They've been smoking weed, they're drunk, they've had a few beers or something, and they think, oh, I'm Big Billy Badass, I'm gonna go handle this snake and show this snake that I'm big and bad. And the snake's like, no you won't, I'll kill you. So, cannot really be blamed on the snakes. I mean, if you look at those, most of those bite incidents don't occur from someone just walking out in the bush and they stumble upon the snake and it tags them, That's where almost all snake bites should occur. But 95% of the time, it's some young bloke that thinks he's real cool and thinks that he's Billy Badass and thinks he's gonna pick up this snake, and he doesn't know what he's doing, and he manhandles the snake in the wrong way, and the snake reacts in the only way that it knows how to, out of fear. And what do snakes do when they're scared? They turn around and bite. All in all, the odds of dying from a venomous snake bite here in North America, especially here in the United States, are absolutely minusculely slim at best. I mean, but more importantly, I think these numbers really point to something else. And that is that if left alone, snakes have absolutely no interest in finding us, seeking us out, or biting us. I mean, why would we? Why would they? We are 1,000 times their size. We're not a prey item. They know they can't eat us. That whole rumor of snakes lining up next to their prey to find out if they're big enough to eat, that's all bullshit. It's all old wives' tales. That doesn't really happen. It's not the way that these animals act biologically. It's not. It's blatant lies. And that's why we're doing these, because we really want to smash out some of these lies and help educate, maybe change a couple hearts on these beautiful misunderstood animals. But the biggest thing is they really don't want to waste their venom on us. They know that they're venomous. They know that they need that venom in order to kill and pre-digest their prey items. So they've got absolutely no interest in wasting this venom on us. Like most pit vipers, cottonmouths have triangular kind of arrow-shaped heads. Large jowls, you know, to help out with those big venom glands they got there in the top of the mouth. And of course they've got vertical pupils, slit-like pupils. Now, these are great ways to tell and identify most of the venomous snakes in North America. If you look at coral snakes don't really have the slit pupils, the triangular head. This is something that you see in old school vipers. I've got some tree vipers behind me that got the arrow-shaped heads. But if you look at any of my cobras, and if you were to put my cobras next to most non-venomous North American snakes, they look very, very similar. And cobras are so much more toxic than cottonmouths or copperheads or even rattlesnakes are. Now, cottonmouths range usually about 2 to 4 feet in length, and they're very, very stout for their size. They're a very thick, fat-bodied snake. Now, they're going to be a good bit thicker than any of your typical water snakes that you see here in North America. They're also going to have a much thicker looking head. The northern water snakes, banded water snakes, checker belly water snake, all the water snakes here in North America, they all have rounded pupils, more round, thinner shaped heads, a slightly thinner to length in proportion body compared to the cottonmouths. If you train your eyes just the tiniest bit, there is a massive difference between the two that's really easy to identify. And once again, that's one more thing that we want to go over here in the show, and doing these web series, doing the live streams over on TikTok, and all of our content over on Instagram. Please check that out too, because that has got all of our best pictures and all of our best content is mostly over on Instagram. Don't get me wrong though, and don't fear, because we're going to have a ton coming onto here as well. A couple more interesting identifiers on cottonmouths that can set them apart from other common water snakes in the area that they live in is they've got dark stripes by each nostril. They've got kind of like a little wall paint going on. They've got a bright white color on the inside of their mouth, and this is a behavioral difference as well as a physical difference that you can see. Regular banded water snakes and other water snakes, they're going to try to flee, they're going to try to get away from you, and cottonmouths do the same thing. Now, banded water snakes hardly ever really ball up. A big difference that you'll easily see is that a cottonmouth, when irritated, when in fear, will have a tendency to curl up in a tight little ball, expose their head, and do what's called gaping. Sitting there with their mouth wide open, showing off their fangs, showing off that bright white inside of their mouth that says, "Hey, I'm dangerous, please leave me alone, I don't want to bite you." Now that we know how to identify a cottonmouth, now that we know some of the signature things that kind of give away cottonmouths, what should you do when you see one? The correct and most proper answer is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Leave it alone, change your path, go around, go a different direction, let it live its life, which is something that all animals and all wildlife that we share this planet with should be allowed to do. No animal deserves to die or to be beaten to death with a shovel because it looks dangerous to another animal like us. Every animal deserves to live. Every animal deserves to experience life, to reproduce, to live out its life cycle. And when we go around deciding what animals deserve to live and what animals don't, I mean, what does that really say about us as a species? I mean, honestly. Now that we've gone over identifying markers and how you should act around a cottonmouth, let's go ahead and go over a couple of the things where if you're watching this video and it's too late, you're already out in the bush, you've already been bitten, or you're already messing around with it. If you do decide to mess around with one of these animals and to disturb them and irritate them, or even more unlikely, just startling one out in the bush and you do get bit, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot. The powerful protein complex that makes up snake venom is excruciatingly painful. It is. But cottonmouth venom is hemotoxin, meaning that it affects your blood and your ability to clot. So it's not like the neurotoxin that you see in carvers and other elapids. It's not going to shut you down so quickly as that. With cottonmouth bites in America, if you go and seek medical attention after getting a cottonmouth bite, the chance of death from a cottonmouth bite is slim to none treated. Even untreated, death from cottonmouth bite is very, very rare, but you definitely want to go and get anti-venom, get medical treatment, because the hemotoxin is going to destroy the flesh and the blood cells and everything that's got blood in it around the bite site and keep on crawling up. So you want to go and get that treated. You want to get the symptoms under control. You want to get the pain under control. And of course, you want to stop the venom from working its way up and destroying more and more of your flesh cells as it goes. But if treated, your chance of suffering permanent damage without being allergic to them is very, 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 very slim. You're going to have a nasty bite wound, by the way, but the doctors can help that quite a lot. Just a word of advice here. When you see a snake and you think, oh, this can hurt my family, this can hurt, I've got children in the house, this can hurt my children, and you try to move it or kill it or injure it in some way, you increase your likelihood and everyone around you's likelihood of taking a bite by about 80 to 90%. I mean, it's just, they're just trying to exist. Just let it exist. I promise you, unless you've got a pond right there in your yard that the snake lives in, chances are it's just going across your yard on its way home or on its way out to hunt to find some food. It has no interest in coming into your house. It has no interest in chewing on your dog or attacking your children. But there's so many snakes, I mean truly innocent, non-venomous, completely harmless snakes. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of them die every single year by the hands of man, thinking that they're doing their community and their species a service by ridding themselves and the world of one more of these venomous animals. You're not doing anyone good. You're upping the risk of getting bit. You're increasing the population of rodents, which increases the chances of spread of disease and parasites. You're doing no one and nothing any good by disturbing or hurting these snakes. Now, we're going to go ahead and take out our cottonmouth myth. So we can talk a little bit about him, show you a little bit of how he moves, his attitude, his disposition, and show you guys that these really are not the monsters that social media and the news press and old wives' tales make them out to be. Let's check him out. Now we're going to get on to the biggest myth about cottonmouths, and that's one that people have given all over, and it's really, really bad information, and it's about the aggressiveness of these animals. And I can tell you for sure that none of it is true. This is actually my foot right here. See how he's gaping right there? That little bit of gaping, that's him saying, hey, you're getting too close, please leave me alone. Now, the biggest story and the biggest myth that I want to bust is about these animals chasing people down. As you can see, I'm over here, and he's going in the opposite direction. He's trying to get away from me as quick as possible. First off, snakes in general are really aggressive, guys. They're just varying different degrees of defensiveness. These animals have no real aggression in the sense, the way that people see aggression. These animals don't come after you. They don't come chasing you down. You can see my feet are over here. He sees me, he knows where I am. He's just trying to get away. He's got no interest in getting me whatsoever. Now the response that you see, the gaping and the striking and stuff, that's all can be avoided by just not getting too close to the snake. They will stand their ground when threatened. And I mean, who can blame them? This is their home that you're invading, their river systems, their ponds. Oh, there's that little bit of gaping right there. That's what we talk about with the cottonmouths. You see them open that mouth nice and wide to show you that pretty bright white look inside there. But I can tell you guys from my personal experiences, from experiences of other herpers, from owning a cottonmouth, having one literally right here in my home, I can tell you that these are not aggressive and they're hardly even defensive animals most of the time. Look how easily he just rides that hook. If he was in my yard, I could pick him up with this snake hook, move him into a bucket and take him into a pond where he could live out his life without ever coming in contact with people again. And he would be so much better off for it. He would just absolutely love it. But you can see how triangular shaped that head is, how thick and broad it is. Now, don't worry too much about patternings because cottonmouths are really, really variable in their patternings. Unfortunately, so are most water snakes. But some of the key differences is if you can see, his pupils are slitted. It's hard to see in this lighting and with this particular camera. He does have that broad arrow-shaped head. When he moves, you can see that he's got a very thick body. And he's just a baby. He'll get much thicker as he grows older. But body size, like girth versus length, these guys are very, very thick-bodied snakes. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous animals. And very, very misunderstood. And he's so easy to just pick up and put right back into his enclosure with no problems whatsoever. And that is little Mr. Myth, our Acestrodon pescivorus, also known as the northern cottonmouth or northern water moccasin. Absolutely incredible snakes, absolutely necessary for their environment, completely beautiful, and once again, they can be absolutely harmless if just left alone and given the proper space that they deserve. Well guys, that's the end of our first full-length YouTube video. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, mates. I had a blast hanging out with you guys, talking about the beautiful, beautiful misunderstood cottonmouth. Amazing animals. I absolutely loved hanging out with you guys. I hope you catch us for our next episode. We're going to release this one later on this evening, and we're going to hope to release another one come Friday. If you've got questions, if you've got comments, put them down here in the comments section, and we'll try to get to everyone and everything. Check out our jungle store on Etsy. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on TikTok. It's all under the same name, guys. Inside a Tiny Jungle, all one word. I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful week. As always, be safe, but most importantly, have fun. Make an adventure out of it. Live a life worth remembering. I love you guys so much, and I hope to see you guys next time right here inside a Tiny Jungle.